evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Nidhi Taneja. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 9th of August. Indian activist ends hunger strike after 16 years to join politics. Strike shutdown in Quetta as people mourn blast victims. And Indian Prime Minister launches Independence Day celebration from freedom fighters' birthplace. And now for all the details. India on Tuesday kicked off the fortnight-long Independence Day celebration where ministers will visit birthplaces of freedom fighters. India gained independence from British on 15th August 1947.
India will observe its 70th Independence Day on 15th of August and the celebrations have already begun. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday inaugurated the celebrations by paying homage to the great freedom fighter Chandrasekhar Azad at his birthplace in central Madhya Pradesh province.
हमारे लिए जान की बाजी लगा दी, जिंदगी खपा ली, अपने परिवार को उजाड़ दिया, अपना सब कुछ देश के लिए समर्पित कर दिया। उनके संतानों के नाते ये 125 करोड़ देशवासियों का कर्तव्य बनता है, ये हमारा दायित्व बनता है कि हमारे लिए आजादी देने वाले इन सभी महापुरुषों का स्मरण करें।
Prime Minister Modi's ministers will visit the birthplaces of national icons and places associated with independence movement in the coming days. The government has planned an elaborate program that will showcase the plurality and diversity of India.
Moving on, Irom Sharmila, an Indian activist who had been on hunger strike for past 16 years, ended her fast on Tuesday. Sharmila, who is a resident of India's northeastern province of Manipur, has been campaigning against the controversial Armed Forces Special Powers Act or AFSPA in the province. She was being force-fed through a tube in her nose for over a decade as she was held by the authorities under a law that makes attempting suicide a crime. Fasting since 2000, she has been the longest hunger striker in the world. While ending her strike, Sharmila has stated that she will be joining politics to serve the people of Manipur and continue her struggle against AFSPA. Staying on news from India, India's federal bank, the Reserve Bank of India, on Tuesday kept key interest rates unchanged. It also warned of risk of inflation crossing target of 5% for March 2017.
The Reserve Bank of India or the RBI released its third bi-monthly policy review of the financial year 2016-17. It kept the repo rate unchanged at 6.5%, while the reverse repo rate, which is paid to banks, has been retained at 6%. The cash reserve ratio or CRR was also kept unchanged at 4%.
We have kept rates on hold, maintaining an accommodative stance while we await developments. We are within the inflation band given to us by the government and expect to be around 5% CPI inflation by March 2017.
Rajan, the former chief economist of International Monetary Fund, is due to step down as the RBI governor on September 4. He will leave behind a revamped federal bank from the one he inherited in September 2013, when India was caught up in one of its worst currency crises and inflation was high at a double digits.
Meanwhile, people of Pakistan's Quetta city are still reeling under pain and horror of one of the worst incidents of violence in the volatile region of Pakistan. A report.
Roads were deserted and many markets closed down in Quetta as people mourned the death of 70 people, mostly lawyers, who were killed in one of the deadliest attacks in the city on Monday. A suicide bomber had detonated himself on Monday when lawyers and journalists gathered at a hospital after a prominent lawyer was shot dead by two armed assailants earlier in the day. Both Islamic State and Jamaat-ul-Ahrar, a splinter group of the banned Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan outfit, have claimed responsibility for the bloodbath.
क़यामत देखी यहाँ पर कि हर जगह पर लाशें लाशें, किसी के बाजू कहाँ पड़े, किसी की टांग कहीं पड़ी, किसी के सर कहीं पड़ा हुआ। जब हम लोग बारिश और बादशाह से बाहर निकल कर हम लोगों ने देखा तो यहाँ पर ऐसी थी जैसे क़यामत है यहाँ पर।
Many residents allege that it was the failure of the government for neglecting the security of the citizens.
सब हुकूमत की अपनी नाअहली है जिसकी वजह से ये वाक़या रूनुमा हुआ है। ये एक वाक़या नहीं है, इससे पहले भी इस तरह वाक़यात हो चुके हैं। हमारे अहले तशरीह भाई हैं, उन पे भी हुआ है। मैं ख़ुद, मेरा ताल्लुक़ अहले तशरीह से है, लेकिन हुकूमत ने कोई नोटिस नहीं लिया जिसकी वजह से ये बड़ा हादसा पेश आया।
The motive behind the attack is still unclear, but several lawyers have come under targeted attacks during a recent spate of killings in Quetta, the provincial capital of Balochistan, which has a history of militancy, sectarian and separatist violence.
Staying on news from Pakistan, the recently held elections in Pakistan-administered Kashmir have stirred anger and hue and cry among the people. As days pass by, accounts of corrupt practices are coming on notice. There are allegations that many election officials were not allowed to enter polling booths during the elections.
The recently held elections in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir have been termed rigged and fraught with corrupt practices by the people of the region. Locals have questioned the authenticity of the elections, stating that public money was wasted in conducting the farce elections. Legal experts who were appointed as agents in the election process have also alleged that during elections, the entire system worked in cohesion according to the tunes of Islamabad.
मैं एज चीफ एजेंट मुकर्रर हुआ और एक और हमारे दोस्त थे चीफ एजेंट मुकर्रर हुए। हमें हमारे उम्मीदवार को वहाँ पर ऑब्स्ट्रक्ट किया, हमें कैंप अंदर नहीं जाने दिया गया। जो पोलिंग डे था वहाँ पर पोलिंग के अंदर देखने के लिए हमें लड़ के जाना पड़ा, घंटा 2 घंटे। वल्लाह आलम किसको क्वेश्चन कर रहे थे इतनी देर में, वो किसको नहीं कर रहे थे।
Pakistan-administered Kashmir had witnessed widespread protests in major towns of Muzaffarabad, Kotli, Chinari and Mirpur in recent times against the rigged elections. The Pakistan Human Rights Group has confirmed allegations of corrupt practices involving money and muscle power.
Moving on, India's relationship with Afghanistan has always been cordial, be it political, cultural or in business. Despite the ongoing instability in Afghanistan, Indian industry is keen to explore newer bilateral trade avenues and increase the amount of trade manifold. A report.
India has traditionally been importing dry fruits, carpets and fresh fruits from Afghanistan. Now the country is looking to increase the trade with Afghanistan that will provide fresh opportunities to Indian businesses and contribute in improving Afghanistan's economic stability. India has invested in the construction of Afghanistan's new parliament building, schools, hospitals and universities, providing funding to the Afghan Ministry of Health and helped train Afghan army and police personnel.
We've also helped them make quite a few important roadways and the dam, the India-Afghanistan dam. But I think a lot more needs to be done. And since relationships are so good, I think Indian businessmen and businesswomen will find that there are great opportunities in Afghanistan.
During former Afghan President Hamid Karzai's visit to India in 2011, the two countries signed the Strategic Partnership Agreement, under which India pledged under $2 billion to its neighbour for various projects other than trade. India has pledged more investment in the war-ravaged country in iron ore mines, a steel plant, a power plant, hydroelectric power projects and roads, among others.
People in India follow a range of customs and traditions that have been passed on since generations. A unique fair of scorpions is celebrated in India's southern Karnataka province.
People of a village near Yadgir town in India's southern Karnataka province worship the idol of a scorpion and play with scorpions too. During the Chalina Jatre or Fair of Scorpions, all villagers celebrate by preparing sweets in their houses and worship the scorpion goddess Kondamai. The villagers go to the nearby hill, popularly known as Chalina Beta, the village of scorpions. They make a beeline to the hill singing folk songs. Children and elders catch live scorpions on the hill. The villagers believe that scorpions will not trouble the people who worship the scorpion goddess.
Monuments are essential to learn about the history of a place. India's western Goa, famous for its beaches across the world, has a rich history.
The Basilica of Bom Jesus is located in India's western Goa province and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It was constructed in the year 1605 and is one of the most important destinations for Christian pilgrims across the world. One of the most important attractions here are the mortal remains of the missionary saint Francis Xavier.
It's a very beautiful church, and basically it's known for Saint Xavier's because his body is here. And moreover, I found old Goa more beautiful and more happening, and I think everyone should come and visit here once in their lifetime.
The basilica is considered to be the best example of Baroque architecture in India. The embalmed body of the saint lies in an airtight glass coffin which is placed in a silver casket. It is believed that the saint had miraculous powers of healing.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. Indian activist ends hunger strike after 16 years to join politics. Strike shut down in Quetta as people mourn blast victims. And Indian Prime Minister launches Independence Day celebrations from freedom fighters' birthplace. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.